this guy.
Hey!
Oh.
We're back! I'm back.
He's back.
I'm back. You've been back.
Oh,
I'm back.
Welcome to another juicy episode
Oh.
of It Crept From the 80's, folks.
Yes, hello.
I'm Mr. Rogers.
I'm his neighborhood.
And, Mr. Tanski has returned.
2019.
Your first show.
Yes.
In what seems like a year and a half.
Over a year. Yeah.
But he's here. He's
Yes.
here, finally.
Yes.
And he's what an episode to return to.
Oh, perfect.
Friend, because
Perfect.
it is one of the greatest years within the greatest decade of all time.
Yeah.
So, folks, tonight's harrowing, adventurous, majestic, and muscular episode
Oh, showing the guns.
is about the year 1984.
80.
My God.
Fantastic. I was 8.
I was 7.
87? No. It was yeah. I looked doing research for the episode. You look at the music, you look at the movies, you look at the toys, you look at the TV shows that debuted.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume we're going to have a lot of
Overlap.
yeah,
As the
overlap
kids say.
on the stuff that we enjoy.
Yes.
Stuff that is still matters to us to this day.
Which is crazy to think. Because if you do the math, it's 35 years.
It is. So many anniversaries happening, folks. My gosh. Casey and I already did our 1989 one
Oh, nice.
weeks ago. But
Which
this
is
was
another
going up
glorious,
first.
another glorious year.
Yeah, we wanted to do the 35th and 30th
Yeah.
anniversaries of
Yeah.
stuff from back then and what we enjoyed.
Which is a lot. We enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
we have a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
We have our paintbrushes in way too many paint cans.
And
Preferably.
I mean, for the most part, as you will find out, and certainly we have talked about a lot of this stuff over and over
Yes.
again before in general to each other in bed.
Mm-hmm. He's the big spoon.
This stuff is still like huge to us, just in general. Yes, we love the 80's and all that good stuff, but there's a lot in here that is still very prominent to this day in our lives.
Which again is it's crazy to think. You gotta wonder if our parents or grandparents still held on to things from 35 years ago.
I'm sure there's, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's
their
people like
like
that.
grandparents was more things like the war.
Yeah.
Remember the war?
They're hanging on to those stories, those memories, those shocking,
Right.
terrible memories.
Right.
But, I mean, this shows all the people out there who are, man-children or who refuse to sort of let go of their childhoods. And we can say it over and over and over again, but there was something very special about the 1980s. The pop culture of the 1980s. That we continue to ape to this day.
We were right on the cusp of just pop culture blowing up.
I mean,
I know
was,
it was starting to build up in the 70s.
Oh yeah, but come on.
Oosh.
I mean,
I would say 84 was kind of the birth.
that's what I say. There was some good stuff.
I mean, you had your
before
Star
then.
Wars and your 82s, your 83s, your 80s.
Yeah, there's some great iconic stuff from 81, 82, 83. But 84, I really believe, and certainly looking at the stuff that was bubbling and happening
Brewing.
new at the time, it's like, holy, wow, okay, yeah, like 84 really like set some shit off.
And then from here on out, just every year.
It's
Till now.
It's magical. It's magical. So I think at least what we did for the 89 is we started with the movies, took a break, and then sort of rolled all the other stuff into the second.
Okay.
So
I'm okay with that.
I think we'll do that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Movies.
Yeah, so there was a lot of movies in 1984, but I wrote down the stuff that
resonated.
Yes.
Yes, because you like your things.
Yes.
That being said, I am in the process of doing a project called the 1984 Project, where I'm trying to watch 84 movies from 1984 throughout the course of the year.
You're a better man than most.
Because there's going to be stuff on there that you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot
No,
cattle prod.
No. And looking through, I was like, what I did for 89, and I guess I can mention some things in here, but what I did for 89 was I also mentioned things that were significant to, like, that movie was very significant.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, not just the geeky, nerdy crap that I love, but there were movies from 1989 that I mentioned because of the cultural significance of that.
Oh, there's tons there. I'm actually trying to do 89 as well, and some variation of that same project.
Yeah,
that's only like 60-something movies.
Like, for instance,
you got Batman.
I mentioned
Lethal Weapon 2.
When Harry Met Sally.
Sure, that's on there.
Now, for me, I could give a shit, but
it is a cultural.
Yes, it definitely
that line of dialogue
for sure. It is with people to this day.
Yeah.
So I did mention things like that. But so I don't know. Do you want to go since you're?
Now, do you want to talk about our 10 favorite from that year?
I think
with
so.
Because
I starred the ones that I really want to talk about, and then there's just a few that I'm just going to be like, okay, this was significant, you know. So you can.
I'll start, and I'm going to go with a tie. Going with a tie. 1984 birthed, and I'm sure you're going to discuss this as well, because we're like-minded individuals. Top Secret and Police Academy.
They are both on my list.
Police Academy, as you well know from our previous episode, is one of our all-time favorite franchises. To the point where Steve Guttenberg was briefly announced for Monster Mania, and I had a bit of a freak out because that is somebody I would like. At that point, I was like, there's some people I want to meet, but when then he was announced, I was like, Brr! But then he got pulled because it was a double booking. But Police Academy is one of our faves, but Top Secret is one of the most underappreciated comedies of all time. It's from the Zaz guys, Zucker, and Abrams, and obviously, Airplane's probably top 5 comedies, but this is one of those ones that they really love, and I don't think it gets the same amount of love.
It's
as their
interesting. It's interesting that it sort of.
It didn't do well when it came out.
Do you know what I mean? Like it just kind of
people don't really mention it. At work, it was brought up, and one of my coworkers was like, "I had never heard that before." But I love the cover because it had a cow in boots.
I show that movie to so many people over the years that have never even heard of it,
right? And
are now like, "This was fantastic!
Yeah.
Like what a lost gem." But it's interesting to think about. Because Airplane was such a huge hit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
was that their...
It was their second movie.
Wow, they took that long to make another movie.
So, they did
they produced
funny, weird crap in between there, but it wasn't the next big movie from those guys.
Right.
I mean, there wasn't one until Top Secret. So you're like, what?
What happened?
What happened? Was it just like...
Was it because
a few years
Val
too
Kilmer?
Long, or nobody knew who Val Kilmer was?
That was his first movie. Which is cool because Val Kilmer's in it, and then the actor, Michael Gow, who played his butler in Batman Forever. So there's this weird...
I'm sure they were reminiscing
on the set of Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Remember when David Zucker had that giant dildo?
Back in the Kilmer Renaissance, really, because Val, like that 80's Val Kilmer is my favorite Val Kilmer. He was far more
goofy.
I think, goofy. Yeah. He didn't take himself as serious.
He could have been.
He didn't.
The next Tom Hanks.
From what I heard.
But they both took different paths.
Once he got sort of attention for his acting, he began to abuse it.
Which movie do you think was The
Doors.
Okay.
Not
Willow? But that's where he met his wife.
I know, but Willow's amazing, and he's still a goofball at Willow.
True.
And he probably was having a blast
Yeah.
with those people. And then you turn a corner and you're suddenly Mr. Drama and Mr. Hollywood Elite, and then you hear terrible stories about how he is on set. You know?
Yeah.
I bet before that, in those prime time 80s years,
I mean, real genius.
he was a dream.
Come on.
Exactly.
So good.
You know? He's hilarious. So Top Secret, yeah, I mean, Top Secret is on the list, and that's why we're talking about it. I mean, I absolutely love it. It, for sure, for me, is my second favorite Abrams Zucker movie. For sure.
How many did they direct altogether?
Oh, God, 75? 75 films? Back to back to back to back to back. And that was a span of 2 years.
Did they only direct 2?
I'm not sure, because they all were a part of Kentucky Fried Movie.
Right.
Airplane.
Was just
They
one of
weren't
them?
a part of Airplane 2.
Right. Did one of them direct Ruthless People? Or was that a collaborative?
I think it just might have been one of them. I mean, one of them went off anyway and did all those other movies
Hot
anyway.
Shots, yeah.
Well, Abrams did Hot Shots, but I'm talking about
Ghost.
the Zuckers themselves. The Zucker was like, yep, I'm going to do these
Ghost.
prestige films.
First Night.
And, I mean, but they all did The Naked Gun.
Naked Gun, that's true. Yeah, totally.
I'm not
And they
sure
did all.
if
Did they do all?
All three?
I don't
or
think
not.
they did the third one. Like they might have produced and wrote it, but I don't
Yeah.
think they directed the third one.
I don't know. Airplane is my favorite comedy of all time.
Oh yeah.
But Top Secret is right
Not
up
on
there.
Blu-ray.
Which is a travesty.
I'm
So
hoping-
bizarre
hoping
to
our-
me.
Hoping since it is the 35th.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Studios like to do that and drop like it's the so and so anniversary, and even if it's bare bones, at least it's out.
We didn't get a
You know.
anniversary release for Summer School, so which is the
is-
same company.
Again,
Paramount.
maddening.
Come on, Paramount.
Maddening. Just doesn't make any sense. There is an audience
Yeah.
for Summer School. Why the hell is that movie not on Blu-ray? So bizarre. So bizarre. But take for example, they released a 25th anniversary when it was the 25th anniversary of Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, did they?
On
Nice.
Blu-ray when it was the 25th anniversary. So it's been a while because 87 it's already had its
Come and gone.
its 30th anniversary, but they didn't do shit.
No.
Zero. Nothing. They put it on Blu-ray, but they didn't do shit. But they called it the glamorous 25th anniversary when they did put it out.
Maybe they got a breakdown of what anniversaries get the.
It just is so.
Should just be every 5
it's weird.
years.
It's really weird. So
35 is a weird number, but it's a big number.
Hey man, that's a big one.
Yeah. What do you got?
Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah,
I
let's
just
go
thought
back.
you.
You want me to just read off? I can.
Police Academy. I mean, we talked about Police Academy. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It started a
Glorious.
revolution. And for me, 3 other films that complete the Police Academy.
But there's.
No. Not for me. 4 films altogether. For me.
I Ride and Die with 5. I love 5.
Oh,
It's so goofy.
no.
You're on that Mahoney tip. You don't like
You
the-
mess with Mahoney,
you don't
you
like
got
the
Tagoni.
the young Lassard.
Oh, fuck that guy.
Hand that rocks the cradle.
Married with Children, right? He's that fuck. Oh no,
That's a different guy.
They look very similar.
Yes, they do actually.
All right. Well, another on my have to talk about it list of 1984 gems is 16 Candles. For me.
No.
Yeah, it is my favorite John Hughes film. John Hughes' first directing. The start of his directing. And I had written for years and years some truly classical 1980s films, John Hughes. But for me, 16 Candles, I can watch that any day of the week and still love it, still laugh at it, still have a warm feeling. It's goofy, it's clever, it's I can relate to some of it. And it's just I don't know. Yeah, 16 Candles, man. 35 years, crazy.
Just I did watch that for my project. Mine is Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, it's not even on my.
Oh.
It's not even on any of the.
Cloak and Dagger, Henry Thomas, Dabney Coleman. It's about a kid that doesn't have a very good relationship with his old man, so he kind of gets away from that reality by going into video games. And one of his video games, dealing with spies, becomes reality, and he must try and stay alive. But then he gets help from his imaginary friend, Jack Flack, played by Dabney Coleman as well, who plays his dad. So it's this duality thing here. But I remember being just jazzed up with that one because it scared me as a kid, because I put myself in his situations. Like, what would I do if I was being chased by men with guns, and how would I survive? And it's just one that's always kind of stuck with me. I to the point where I made my own Atari cartridge for Cloak and Dagger, because it just didn't exist, and I wanted one. So it sits on my desk, and I look at it proudly. And I had Henry Thomas actually autograph it, and he was like very into it as well. He was like, "This is so cool." So, Cloak and Dagger, yes, one of my faves. Not on Blu-ray. There's going to be a theme here, apparently.
All right. Let's go to Bachelor Party.
Oh, nice.
You've heard me talk about this before. That it is my favorite Tom Hanks film ever. I really love this movie. I've seen it so many times, and the first time I saw it, I rented it. It was probably 86 when I rented this thing, and was like,
On top of the fact that the soundtrack is
amazing
totally your
soundtrack.
wheelhouse.
Of course it is, with the Oingo and the Boingo, but it's just a funny, weird, sexy, ridiculous movie. I just love everything about it. I love the characters. I can recite lines back and forth. It's
Tom Hanks at his prime, but it still encompasses everything you love about Tom Hanks. His goofiness, his seriousness, his everyman.
I miss this Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Because I've said this before, I care not for anything that Tom Hanks has done beyond, like,
not even
big.
Dragnet? Oh, it's beyond big.
Fine.
Gotcha.
It's fine.
Awesome.
Dragnet, for me, it's fine. I liked the soundtrack more than I liked the movie. I had the cassette.
Just the facts.
And I sang that friggin' City of Crime rap all the time. I can recite the lyrics to this day. So it was, the video was more appealing
when they're in the,
than the movie for me.
That's a different year. That's 87.
Yes, it is.
That's 87. We're talking 84, Bachelor Party.
I think the last great, ridiculous, fun role for him was Big. Even though The Burbs was the year later, but he wasn't as Tom Hanksy in The Burbs. And then he just went off and did romantic comedies or dramas that I just don't care about at all. I miss goofy Tom Hanks.
Yes.
That's why it was such a thrill when he did David S. Pumpkins.
Because it's
weird.
That harkens back.
Goofy Tom. It's interesting because everything you hear and see about Tom Hanks,
he is that guy.
Yeah, he's good. He's
if you see him
jokester.
out in public, he'll take
he does dumb shit.
Yeah.
And
wedding photos or mess with a guy that's
great.
drunk at a restaurant or a diner.
That's my Tom Hanks. So, Bachelor Party is 100%.
Rewatched that one recently as well for my project, and I'm upset that it took me this long to appreciate it. This is going to be something that's going to work its way into my lexicon, and
I love it.
and watch it way more than I should have.
I
Because it
shouldn't
still
have
holds
been
up.
watching that
It's
when I was a
hilarious, and he is like Chris is saying, Tom Hanks is perfect.
Adrian's Med, folks.
Yes.
Adrian's Med. Michael Dudikoff.
Before he was an American Ninja.
He starts getting all serious and kicking ass. He's a freaking wackadoo in Bachelor Party. It's so great.
And then the bully from Real Genius.
I just love it.
Is the-
Oh my god. Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So good.
I'm surprised that didn't. I know they made a really bad sequel many years later.
I wouldn't even bother.
I'm surprised that hasn't been an IP that people try and revive or.
It's funny, when that came out on Blu-ray, I got it as a birthday gift that summer. And it was probably my favorite birthday gift. And I got a lot of cool shit. But that one, I was like, Bachelor Party on Blu-ray! So,
I definitely did.
35th anniversary, you
Add
know
it to
I'm
the
going to be
collection.
watching it on the big screen downstairs.
Excellent.
All right, go ahead.
The Last Starfighter.
That is also on my
Yes.
starred list.
Another one of those gems where it should be more popular than it is, but it didn't.
Great theme
Unfortunately,
song.
yes, unfortunately didn't do as well. So I feel like that's an IP that should have taken off, but people just don't discuss The Last Starfighter. But they remember it and they're like, oh. And I actually got to play the actual video game in Austin at a bar.
Constant rental.
Yes.
Back in the day.
There was going to be action figures that never got produced. I have a couple. I have like the hardcover storybook, and I have the record that I had. The director Nick Castle, who's also Michael Myers in the original Halloween, and Lance Guest, who is the Last Starfighter. Autograph it.
So good. Catherine Mary Stewart.
Yes, of Night of the Comet fame. And it's just I got the comics. I try and get every kind of bit of merchandise for these weird movies that didn't really have much merchandising, but I try and collect it all. But that is one, if you've never seen. Perfect. Ripe for a remake, but I know the person that owns the rights is a little stingy with that. I know Spielberg wanted to remake it many years ago, but he doesn't want to give up the rights. But who knows? Maybe someday. But it's just a perfect sci-fi action film.
For me, I feel like
Robert Preston, the Music Man.
If they were going to do it, well, they would, but for me, don't change a thing other than the
I almost
effects.
want not a reboot, but a direct sequel to it where that arcade system is.
I think I would
is
appreciate
in some like
that
weird
more.
laundromat in
If
some
they
small
could do
town.
like the Jumanji thing.
Yes,
you know?
that's a perfect way to think it. Yeah.
Where the first did exist, and it's a soft reboot, recharging of the franchise. Get it back there like that. I think that would be sweet.
Maybe war is broken out again up in Centauri.
Yeah.
And they need a new starfighter because maybe there's statues of Alex.
That would be great.
And
See, that's exciting.
Yeah. Come on,
get on that.
Nobody cares though, so that probably won't get me.
So that was on mine.
Yeah.
But Neverending Story
Okay.
is also on mine.
Not on mine. Never connected with that.
To me, it's a classic. Watch it over and over. And
But
over
I will
and
be
over
watching
and
it
over
again.
Yeah.
Atreyu. I know all the stuff. It wasn't one that was in my personal lexicon.
Being me and loving puppety oddballs and
Puppety oddballs.
anything like that, Muppets, Jim Henson-y, animatronics and weirdness, and I mean it was hitting everything for me back then, and
You just love Oliver Barrett though.
no.
You're like Cocoon.
And I was
Daryl. Come on.
Bastion for sure. Watching that movie, I was like, just feeling it. I was like, I get transported every single time I watch that movie. But it's like that for me with any of the 80s fantasy movies. They were so
Lady Hawks.
prominent. I like Lady Hawk.
Lady Hawk's awesome.
And that's a very underrated.
Yes.
No one talks about Lady Hawk.
Richard Donner.
I think it's great.
Is that Richard Donner?
Fantastic. Rutger Hauer.
Oh, yeah.
John Stamos. Billy D. Williams.
Michelle Pfeiffer, young Michelle Pfeiffer. Wait, Billy Dee Williams.
Those people are not it. No. Rutger Hauer is, yes, but not John Stamos and Billy Dee Williams. But Neverending Story, of course, and you know, the theme song.
Great theme song.
It's just great. They did do an actual really good Blu-ray release with extras and everything, commentary, all that good stuff. And it's celebrating 35 years. Can't believe it. So I'm going to be showing it for the Saturday night sleepover coming up in March. Yeah, so Neverending Story.
The Terminator.
That's also on my list.
A young Arnold Schwarzenegger. Gray Star. Not his first movie, but Gray Star Eyes. Excellent sci-fi. James Cameron's second directing gig, sort of. Maybe his first. Depends on who you ask. Behind Piranha 2. But, I mean, it's a horror film. If you break it down, he's pretty much Jason slasher.
Yeah, people tend to not think of it that way because of the subject matter.
Right.
But I always have. I think it is straight up like sci-fi horror movie.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
He is an unstoppable
he
Jason
scared
force.
the shit out of me as a, I was probably way too young to be seeing this in theaters, but
we all were. We all were too young
was a
to be
different
seeing
time.
this shit. It just was different times. Lax. Everything.
And I'm so glad because it's shaped who I am today.
Again, what a time, man!
Yes.
It just. There's never going to be a time like it.
But I mean, Stan Winston's effects and Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton. It's just such a good movie and still holds up today.
Brad Fiedel does the
score.
soundtrack.
I mean, obviously T2 is amazing, but
for me, Terminator.
This is one of those Godfather 2 things where it's like, which one's better?
I think Terminator is better for me.
It's a better movie, but obviously for pure entertainment craziness, T2 is just.
I mean, he
reinvented the world of movies.
He took it and fucking destroyed it with part 2. But my sensibilities.
Yes. The first one.
Yes, it lies firmly, face twixt butt cheeks.
Oh.
In with
you
the
asshole.
For the first Terminator.
Yeah.
I love
the mythology.
Well,
the best thing is we didn't know we were getting a second one, so there's that mythology about the saving the world.
I mean, it has almost everything.
Yeah.
Time travel. It's got
and
love interest.
Dick Miller, R.I.P.
Dick Miller, of course. Oh yes. We lost a legend, folks.
Yeah.
We lost a legend, Dick Miller, who you've seen in everything.
He'll get brought up again.
Everything that you've ever seen.
Everything.
He's been in. Yeah, he's in your dreams tonight.
Oh, that's fun.
He's telling you to get a Kentucky Harvester in your dreams.
WII. What do you got?
So, we was talking about that. Let's go to. Okay, well, let's go to. Ooh, now we're getting some real heavy hitters here that were very important and still are to this day. Revenge of the Nerds, to me.
Nice. Honorable mentions.
Classic. 100% classic for me. Another of those movies that I rented.
Oh, yeah.
Back to, all the time.
Yes.
All the time until we
definitely shouldn't have been able to watch
No.
Definitely.
But didn't matter.
So many questions I had to ask.
It was. I mean, I rented all this stuff over and over and over again until we got a second VCR, and then I started duping everything.
Oh, that's illegal. FBI.
But Revenge of the Nerds, again, it's another one of those movies. I can recite, minutes upon minutes of that film. The soundtrack I loved. Every now and again will pop up in my head. The soundtrack, some of the soundtrack songs are in my everyday mix when I'm driving.
What's the
sex? Are you ready for the sex girl?
That's it.
Yes. That song in general is hilarious, and it goes on. It's a very long song, folks. I think I killed one of our pool parties this past summer because I kept playing that song. And they were just like, oh.
Please stop. I wouldn't mind that.
But, yeah, Revenge of the Nerds, man. It's a...
Young John Goodman.
I love that film. 35 years. It's incredible. Incredible to me. And, listen, I like part 2.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't, but I really do. I think Nerds in Paradise is pretty good.
Sure. Another great song.
3 and 4, not so much. They were made for TV. But I certainly did watch them.
Oh, yeah. Because they made them like events.
And I like 4 more than I like 3.
You had to get the 3D glasses from 7-Eleven. I think there was Scratch and Sniff.
There was
cards.
So they did make a big deal out of it, but they also lost some of the what made those first 2 really really special.
Yeah, I was glad to see that Betty and
Boobs, Bush, and Butt stay.
and Louis stay together. That's
but 4 works better for me than 3 did. Only because they were able to bring in more of the actual original nerds in 4 than they did in 3. In 3, it kind of lost it for me.
Anthony Edwards.
The weird looking replacement that they got.
Was that like a rub?
It didn't look really much.
No.
It was almost like a.
If you're not going to be in our movie, we're going to bring in the
we're going to basically look like a garbage pail kid. It's so bizarre. I remember just being like, ugh, that ain't him. Something's going on. But yeah, Revenge of the Nerds, classic. Again, showing it on my Saturday night sleepover.
Excellent.
It's 35 years, Revenge of the Nerds.
Now, in most cases, this would probably be higher because of the cultural touchstone in my life, but this is how great 84 is. But A Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's on my list.
1984, 35 years. Freddy Krueger was born.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is history in my collecting eyes. I mean, it's one of the greatest horror films ever made. The characters transcended pop culture. Everybody, even if you've never seen A Nightmare on Elm Street or any of the films, you know who Freddy Krueger is.
The start of a phenomenon.
Yes.
Truly.
Merchandising up the wazoo even today. It's 35 years later, and it's an event to release a new Freddy Krueger toy or And, I try.
It is a classic.
I try and pick up every little bit to the point where it's a Instagram hashtag for me. Every Friday I'm posting something from my Freddy collection.
Vivid memories.
Yes.
It was a movie that my mother took me to see.
And it's crazy to think we got sequels like practically every year.
Mm-hmm.
That's unheard of. Well, there's some horror films,
man. We got them like that's why it bugs me to no end when we hear today like people like, oh, they can't do that. Can they turn around a movie all in a year? Like, fuck you. Blows me away. Have you forgotten the past? Like, it was a staple.
There's some franchises that try and push them out every year, and it's all movies.
Well, they did.
Yeah.
But it was like
but you can do that today.
Like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, what? No, it fucking wasn't. You were built on that shit.
You expected. Well, we didn't have the internet, so we didn't even really know until you saw the poster. I'll vividly remember seeing the standee for Dream Warriors and just losing my mind. Like, oh my God, there's,
Well, that was what was great also in Fangoria, because you'd get the terror teletype, and they would tell
Coming
you,
soon,
hey,
stuff,
like so and so is working on blah blah blah, and you're like, what? But yes, Nightmare on Elm Street. It was the movie that made me want to make movies.
Oh, nice.
And I've told that story before, but why Star Wars, why Indiana Jones, why those movies, why the Spielberg stuff didn't make me want to, I don't know. Why was it Nightmare on Elm Street? Why was it coming out of that?
I feel like
I want a camera. Because I didn't make horror.
Right.
I did make like backyard Freddy and Jason things, but they were not horror. It was all comedy. It was all like Monty Python shtick with these characters.
I think the thing with Freddy is that felt like you could do that, or I don't.
I've never been
you
able
couldn't pull off a Indiana Jones movie, at that age.
Yeah, but I would. It was weird because I would go out with my cousins and neighborhood friends, and we would play Indiana Jones. We would play Star Wars. We would play The Dark Crystal. We would play those things.
I played Terms of Endearment.
All you need is a camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I get my camera. Well, our family gets the camera
you got your
that Christmas, and I want to go and make,
a dream sequence.
Silly Freddy in the backyard scaring with butter knives and a cut up winter glove. But something about that movie just really like. Funny though. It's not high on my list of Nightmare on Elm Street films. I love it.
Yes.
It has a huge impact, and of course it's on my list, and I just told that amazing story about my life and my connection with Freddy.
Right.
But
3 and 4.
when I think of them, and in fact when I watch them, I am sort of like, hurry up one,
It is
because I'm waiting for the kickoff,
right?
So I would say it's probably my third.
Okay.
It
might be my second
franchise.
I go Dream Warriors, first one, and then probably Dream Master.
And we'll do a whole Nightmare episode. We'll do a Friday the 13th episode. We're going to do things like that.
Yeah.
But Nightmare on Elm Street, amazing.
Yes.
So, me, or is that you? I mean, we both did it. Gremlins.
Yes, that's on mine. High up on that list.
Gremlins is huge.
R.I.P. Dick Miller.
Still, I mean, that is a, if not multiple times, at least once a year.
Every Christmas.
Sure. Watch.
Yeah.
It's. I hear this about this movie, and I hear it with like Dark Crystal and things like that, where kids grew up terrified of these movies. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. I wasn't.
No.
Like, Gremlins didn't terrify me. Dark Crystal certainly didn't terrify me. I understand now as an adult why Dark Crystal in particular would be creepy to children, but it just didn't creep me out. But I hear it with Gremlins as well. That movie scared the shit out of me, but I love it. Like, I didn't get scared of Gremlins. I just thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is so cool. I don't know. I think, again, maybe the attraction to puppety oddballs, animatronics, creatures. Like
Chris's new podcast.
Little creatures, Again, we were growing up in the age of Spielberg. Yeah. So these movies felt like Spielberg. Even at a young age, you knew there was something special about these Spielbergian films that you were watching, because there was a tangible and unique thing about all of them. Even if they're just produced by Spielberg, they have an authenticity to them, regardless of who is directing. Joe Dante, the more you saw Joe Dante, certainly for me, growing up, renting certain movies, you were like, okay, now I see this style. This is a Joe Dante film. But you can't deny the Spielberg pull on your childhood. Like, he just had a formula, and it worked in everything that he touched, for the most part. Certainly for the movies that kids devoured back then. That type of...
You saw his name on there, whether it be director, producer, executive producer.
And it felt something. It was special. It was special. And that movie...
I miss that because he's such prestige now.
Yeah, but I don't know. I got that with Ready Player One.
Well, yeah,
I
that
felt
was his
it.
return to form.
I really did feel it. could do a whole Spielberg one too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Gremlins. It works on all cylinders. Characters, the setting, the mood, the music.
Mm-hmm.
The effects are incredible.
Practical. No CGI in this.
Great movie. Great dark humor. Just really, really spectacular. I love that movie. Love it.
Yes. It's on my list as well. Very high up on that.
Another movie. Shit ton of like merchandise.
Yes.
You know?
To this day.
To this day. Still cranking out Gremlins.
But yet we've
stuff.
only gotten 2 movies. That's
I know.
IP that should have multiple sequels. But I'm kind of glad in some ways that they didn't overdo it.
Mark my words.
But
there will be a Gremlins. There will be another Gremlins
I
movie.
believe so. The new script's making the rounds.
There definitely will be.
I'd like to see. Now, do you want to see a total reboot, or
No.
do you want to direct?
I would like a. It's coming back.
Is
you know,
Gizmo
it's
an
connected.
old Muggle?
That would be hilarious.
How old?
Some gray in there.
He's got a little cane.
He's got a little Fu Manchu.
He's getting smaller.
But yeah, I would like because I fear they would kind of fuck up the magic of that movie if they just tried to totally redo it. Again, you have the originals, not a big deal.
Right.
But for me, as a fan, I would rather see a continuation.
Excellent.
So.
My next choice would be, and I just rewatched it today, is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
It is on my list.
Of course. A very much maligned sequel, but
I don't get it.
I don't understand. It's just so much fun. They went dark, which most sequels do. Their part twos.
You know what though? But it's also extremely goofy.
Yeah, I mean they fall out of a plane in a inflatable raft. I mean, that's
well, this is
crazy.
why I can't
that's
take
how the serials of.
I can't take people seriously when they poo-poo on Crystal Skull. Mind you, Crystal Skull is the weakest film out of that
Indiana
whole thing.
Jones.
But there really wasn't anything far-fetched, and I can't. No. And I'm not. You know what? I will
the fridge
argue.
thing. The fridge thing. That's dumb. Don't.
I will argue up and down with you, so-called critics, you highbrow fuckfaces who.
Wow.
It just blows my mind. It blows my mind. You fucks should know better than to come up with some of the critiques that you did for Crystal Skull that you could and you can apply to every other fucking Indiana Jones movie.
Well, even with Star Wars, like, the acting is.
Well, again,
did you
yes,
see A New
Star
Hope?
Wars. It just
the acting's not very good in that.
I can't even take you seriously. Now, listen, I can say and agree with you that for me, Crystal Skull was a disappointment. For me, it definitely was.
That being said,
But by no means do I think that movie is a dumpster pile like everyone thinks it is. Do I not like Shia LaBeouf in that movie? I don't like him. I don't like that character. I do not like the monkey thing, for sure. I don't like it. But for the most part, everything else in that movie is straight up Indiana Jones.
Right.
Like, you're on fucking some weird ass space crack if you think it's not. It's just bizarre. Bizarre. But that has nothing to do
no, we're talking Temple of Doom
with what I think is the greatest Indiana Jones movie of all time, The Temple of Doom.
Mola Ram.
It is my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
It still holds up, and those effects. I mean, the whole minecart scene won them an Oscar. So
Every one of those goddamn movies holds up.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous for people to think it doesn't.
one of the best
Come on.
trilogies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree.
Crusade, also celebrating a 30th anniversary.
Yes. Again. Yes. Which we did talk about. But Temple of Doom, man, I think, again, it was probably the right time. We were seeing it fresh for the first time. It blew me away. I dressed as Indiana Jones. My aunt made sure
Nice.
I was Indiana Jones for Halloween that year, and complete with fake stubble. She got me a a whip. It was dope. Yeah, there's pictures that I want, family, of me as Indiana Jones in 1984.
My dad got in line super, super early for the first showing and was on the news talking about seeing Temple of Doom.
And Nostalgia, right?
I wonder if he still has that footage. He might. I'll have to see. But yes, Temple of Doom.
Okay. I mean, geez, I would assume
We're getting some crossover now.
the rest we're definitely getting crossover. The Karate Kid. No mercy, my friend.
Yes.
Come on. The Karate Kid. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
35 years of The Karate Kid.
Who would have thought? It's such, at the time, probably such a... I know it did super well and we had sequel, but they probably...
Folks!
There's no way they were thinking...
The 80s were so amazing. Amazing. So much so that 85 to 90% of everything we have today is from the 1980s.
Still.
Aping the 1980s, trying to recreate the glory of the 1980s.
Music.
The Karate Kid is...
It's got
one of
that
those
John
things.
Carpenter vibe. You know, people use 80 references to promote their new products, their new songs, their new movies.
So much so that they can come back and give us a sequel television show that is...
To quote Casey, one of the
phenomenal.
greatest sequels of
It
all
is.
time.
It is.
And
It is. They killed
he
it.
is correct.
They killed it.
If you have not seen Cobra Kai, please do so, because it is perfect if you're a fan of the Karate Kid series.
So good.
It is just absolutely perfect. The way they flipped it on its... It makes you care about a character you hated. It's just, it's amazing. I cannot wait for... They've locked season 2. They've edited it, music,
Can't wait.
and it should be in a couple months, maybe April, May. But yes, the Karate Kid.
Karate Kid, man.
Obsessed. Merchandise, whatever I can get my hands on.
You would hope that they would kick up the merchandise a little bit this year for the 35th.
We're getting
Still early.
We're getting some NECA figures.
We
There's
are
some
getting
bobbleheads.
that, but come on, we're gonna get some more. We
I'm
got
hoping for a 4K release of the movie. Maybe some kind of book retrospective. Last year we got a Die Hard one. I'm hoping I get a Karate Kid one. All my favorite movies have been made into retrospective books. Fright Night, Lost Boys. It's a grand...
Norman's Awesome Experience.
Yes, Dirty Work. Norman.
That can be.
But yes, The Karate Kid's my number one, and on some days it's my all-time favorite film.
It is a classic.
Yes.
That's another movie where I can watch it any day of the week.
Yes.
Any day of the week. Never get bored.
Recite it.
It's fantastic.
Pillar to post.
Fantastic.
Beverly Hills Cop.
It's on my honorable mentions.
Excellent. It's one of those films where you forget how good it is until you sit down and watch it, and you're just blown away at how awesome of an action comedy that it is. Eddie Murphy just on the cusp
Get the fuck out of town.
of stardom.
No, I cannot.
Just coming off of SNL and 48 Hours, and you realize how much of a movie star he was going to become. Just so funny. Almost the blueprint for your action comedies came after it.
Now, do you like Beverly Hills Cop 2?
I haven't seen it as much as the first one, but
Agreed.
yes, it's again where it's a sequel where they ramp up the action and the comedy.
I like it, but I prefer 1.
Yes. I mean, one's just from the lines of dialogue to the set pieces and the
Bronson Pinchot!
Yes. But yeah, 2's I like 2. I just haven't seen it in a while actually. So.
Another movie with a great soundtrack.
Yes, the Jets and Shakedown, Breakdown.
Okay.
What you got?
I got Friday the 13th, Part 4, the final chapter.
Honorable mention.
It is on my 100% magical, classical, yes, goddammit, I adore this film. It is my favorite Friday the 13th film of all time.
Oh.
I can watch it, and I do watch it every single year. Probably since I saw it, since I was a little kid.
So he's only seen it 30, 40.
Well, I've watched this movie several times a year before.
He's watching it now. It's over the camera. Right?
The movie is phenomenal. I just love it. It is one of those Friday the 13th movies where I absolutely almost love every single character in that film. And
Crispin.
And am upset that some of those people go. And you can't say that about every Friday the 13th film. You can't say that about every slasher film in general. But I genuinely liked a large portion of everybody in this movie. I think they're great. While has the formula of Friday the 13th film, it is the first one where it really kind of, for me, messes with it a little bit. It isn't as note for note for note for note like 1, 2, and 3 are. And I like 3 a lot. But 4, I don't know. There's something truly magical about 4. Savini came back, and he gave us a kick-ass array of violence in that film. Jason is scary. Ted White's Jason is scary in this movie. I think Jason in 3 is scary at the end when it hits into the dream sequence there, when he's banging on the window.
Oh, yeah.
And he runs.
Yeah.
And that's fucking scary. But Jason in 4 is a force, and he is running, and he is going to kill you. I love it. I just love it. Performances, just fantastic.
The Feldman.
Yeah, Feldman, Glover, Judy Aronson. Come on. Kimberly Beck. Give me a break. Movie's fantastic. I just love it.
Perfect.
35 years.
Crazy. Still, and again, another merchandising juggernaut.
Jason and the Friday the 13th. I mean, that's regardless that we haven't got a fucking Friday the 13th movie in 10 years, we're getting another Friday the 13th movie. And it's going to happen. It's happening. It's going to happen. We will never not have Jason.
Now, what do you... when, not if, when, what direction do you want it to just restart again?
Listen.
Direct sequel to...
Listen, man.
Because it doesn't really matter. It's not rocket science. That's part of... When the rights were a little bit more visible... I don't understand why it was so hard. I don't want to go on this rant
because we should probably be taking a break soon, but
we could break this up.
But
we could come back and watch it another time.
This whole idea of studios, Hollywood, not knowing what to do with Friday the 13th and trying to reinvent the wheel.
Right. It doesn't need to be done.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't need some weird mythos where this is about his father. I just want...
I don't understand.
Jason and campers. And then have a cool finale.
I say...
Start it up again.
Set it in the 1980s.
Sure.
Put it at a fucking camp. Put Jason in that camp. Put counselors and kids in that camp.
Boobs.
And go.
Now, that just gets us on a rant. I don't know if I want to bring that up. No. I'll save that for another episode.
Well, for the Friday the 13th episode.
Yeah. But yes.
Bizarre. But anyway, Friday the 13th 4. Fantastic. Magical. I love it.
My last one before we get to honorable mentions, and this is another IP juggernaut, cultural touchstone, merchandise.
My last big one. Too.
Yeah. It starts with a G.
Yeah.
It's Ghostbusters.
Who are you gonna call?
It's the movie that defined my life in the mid '80s. There,
for sure.
From just reciting it and trying to be one for Halloween and merchandise.
You've all heard my Ghostbusters story.
And the music, the soundtrack. I mean, I bought a Ray Parker Jr. album because of it. Chartbusters.
I would like to think, and I would
because it had the extended version.
And I would assume that our generation were obsessed with Ghostbusters.
Yes.
I can't even imagine kids like us growing up in that time not being affected by that franchise.
To the point where we got the fake Ghostbusters. Anything Ghostbusters, I soaked up, you know, just stickers and little books and just Bill Murray being a god, you know. I didn't see the Rivers, what is it,
I know what
River's
you're
Edge.
I know what
it's
you're talking about.
The whole reason he did Ghostbusters was so he could do that movie. But just epic. Just, again, still to this day.
It
Ghostbusters.
is. I mean, classic. And then it's still going.
Yeah. To the
And we're
point where
finally...
people just get freaked out over
finally-
doing a remake with women. Like, it's so impassioned in people's minds. And now we're getting a part 3. 36 years later. Insane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
It still holds up. Part of
You
my
believe it? It's
rewatched it. Part of my project. It's still, even though I can quote it back and forth, I still laugh at scenes I remember, and it's just and it's scary in parts. There's some really good moments of fright, and it's just so perfect.
Mm-hmm. That's another like movie where we could quote it.
Yeah.
You know, and it had no issue. There's just so many quotable lines. Everything about that movie is kick-ass. Like it's Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, man. Ghostbusters. And both films celebrating anniversaries.
Yes.
Ghostbusters 2.
Celebrating the
Do you enjoy Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah.
Because there's lots of people who don't like Ghostbusters 2.
I mean, it gets a little hokey with the whole statue. That's probably the only thing I don't like is the Statue of Liberty sequence, because it's just too much like Stay Puft and be just too ridiculous to get involved with for me. But it's still Bankman, Stantz, Zedmore, Spengler. I mean,
Stamos?
yes, and Billy D. Williams.
It's all there.
Yeah,
It's all there. But yes, Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Yep,
Ghostbusters 2 is fine.
It's huge.
I have no problem watching that. You got any others we missed? I got
Those
some
were
honorable mentions.
Those were the big ones. I mean, we got honorable mentions. I guess we can cruise through the honorable mentions before we take the first break.
Yeah. What you got?
Go ahead.
Tom Selleck's Runaway. Rewatched that one. That one still holds up for me. Gene Simmons is so fucking crazy in that one. Great villain. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai. Underrated film. I haven't watched it in a long, long time.
I've seen that movie probably 6-7 times.
Can't get into it.
Nope. Every single... And I do it to say, you know what, maybe I'll like it this time.
It's not... It's a weird one.
Yeah, I think I
That was my dad's favorite movie of that year. I was like, what do you mean? Ghostbusters should be
I think
favorite.
I saw it probably in 90, 91 for the first time.
Gotcha.
And it was just like, And then throughout the years, I've tried to watch it again just recently with Katie.
Oh.
And Katie's just like, turn this off. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I can't do it. Same with Blade Runner.
Oh,
Like,
I was late to that party.
I guess I'm still late to that party because I just do not like Blade Runner.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't.
And
enjoy
again,
it when I
this
first
is probably
watched it.
my 10th time watching Blade Runner.
I mean, he's tried.
With Katie, those credits rolled, and I was just like,
I don't get it.
I do not like this movie. And Katie was like almost asleep. She was like,
it is. Yeah.
fuck this movie. And then we watched the second one.
Oh.
And
I
I think we were both like, maybe Blade Runner just is not for us.
Oh, okay. I haven't had a chance to see.
While there are bouts of like, okay, this is getting good, for the most part, it's a snooze fest. But hey, whatever. People love it. You can't besmirch what people like because they like it.
Oh yeah. We like weird shit. They like weird shit.
Yeah.
I'm not
It's
gonna
a shame
judge.
because looking at Blade Runner,
You're like, whoa.
it's like,
Yeah.
God, why did I not like this movie? It is visually beautiful.
It's happening now.
Both of them.
2019.
I know. It is.
We got
My
flying
God.
cars and Edward James Olmos. Couple more Revenge of the Nerds, obviously. Muppets Take Manhattan. We didn't talk about that. I love that movie.
It's on my honorable mentions, but only for me because that's where they introduced the Muppet Babies.
Oh, okay. Yes, wonderful.
It is my least favorite Muppet movie.
Yeah, if I were to rank, I'd probably... We're talking about the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Johnny Dangerously.
That's also on my...
Michael Keaton.
Again, underrated movie.
Gangster
People
movie.
forget about that movie. So funny.
I had the poster up in my room for many years.
That movie's great.
So good.
Where's that Blu-ray?
So good. Amy Heckerling. Just top to bottom cast. Hilarious. Griffin Dunn.
It's so good. It is great.
Maureen Stapleton. Joe Piscopo. You shouldn't kick me in the balls, Johnny. My sister kicked me in the balls once. And one more.
Bargain.
We had part 1 and part 2 in the same year. I'm sure it's on
Oh,
your
it's on my list.
We got fucking Breakin' and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. The same year. The preview for the second one was at the end of the first one. You didn't have to wait a year. You got the same. You got Turbo, you got Ozone, you got Special K. So good. Those movies, I'm shocked. Not shocked, but they did really well.
Mm-hmm.
Box office wise. People were into everybody wanted to break dance. I still got a book at home on how to.
Not Robert Rustler. Not the Daggers.
No.
Breaking is so over.
Jean-Claude? Dan? Just dancing. So good. Yeah. So those are my honorable mentions.
Oh.
I could go on. There's too many actually.
Okay, well I
just don't want to be here all day.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Oh shit! Fuck yes.
Night of the Comet. Culturally, Dune was a big deal, but it was a stinker.
I'm gonna give that another watch.
I again rewatched it again and I hated it, but I can't wait for the new Dune because the Dune story is phenomenal, and the miniseries that USA made years and years and years ago is great. Both of the miniseries actually
from the director of Blade Runner 2049 or whatever.
Yes, he is. He is doing Dune.
I was I was hyped for that movie. And you got to the theater and they gave you a sheet of like keywords from that. You're not
just Gam Jabbar.
You can't look at a piece of paper while you're in the dark.
Footloose. Culturally phenomenal.
New to that movie, and I wasn't wowed by it when I first watched it, but it stuck with me.
Spinal Tap.
Oh, just rewatched
Children of the Corn.
Still holds up.
Splash. Romancing the Stone. Streets of Fire.
Got to see that.
Conan the Destroyer.
Yes.
So many. Meatballs 2. Purple Rain. Red Dawn. All of Me.
All of Me.
And Chud.
In the bowl.
And those are my honorable mentions.
No, Hot Dog the movie? What about Angel?
They are on my list, but
Ninja 3, the
Savage Streets should be on my list because I absolutely love Savage Streets. I'm
Bodies?
Actually not sure why Savage Streets is not on my list. Starman is on my list. I didn't read it, but I don't love it.
It's been a while.
I don't even own it.
Oh, well, I have
a bunch of these movies.
Every John Carpenter movie.
Own, but for the most part, I do. So that's it. That's it.
So many. Amadeus? I was that weird kid that loved Amadeus. Loved Amadeus.
I like that fart scene. Okay, yeah, we're gonna take a break.
Oh! We were just
so watch some of these
commercials. Are they from '84?
I'll make sure.
Yay!
Want to see some pudding?
How can it be? I can't believe my eyes. Pudding roll-ups, pudding in disguise.
Betty Crocker pudding roll-ups. Delicious creamy pudding in disguise.
Pudding roll-ups.
Hey, watch me get Fred's Cocoa Pebbles. Got to have Rockstone. Cocoa Pebbles have that chocolatey taste. Go, Fred. Got to have Cocoa. Chocolatey Cocoa Pebbles on Cocoa Lasso. Got to have Cocoa. This rock's got to roll. Mama's Cocoa Pebbles cereal, part of this nutritious breakfast. Yabba dabba delicious.
Sure, we all love these new Giggles cookies with the peanut butter and fudge cream inside the funny faces. But all that laughing, slapping tables in the commercials, who'd act that way? Everybody.
New peanut butter and fudge Giggles cookies.
It's a signal, it's a sign you gotta get through when your stomach wants to eat. You can do the arches. Do the arches. The arches. Yeah. Do the arches. The arches. Do the arches. The arches. Doing breakfast, doing lunch, doing dinner. You can do the arches. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Do the arches. Yeah. Let's do lunch.
Lots to talk about.
I've said this before.
To who?
The ether.
Oh,
And you know the ether.
I do.
They like to talk
he owes
and
me
gossip.
money.
But I would say, while I certainly have shards of memories from probably, 81, 82, 83,
Yes.
there are certain touchstones and vividity that I still have in my mind chamber.
Yes.
But I would say for me, 84 is really when I start remembering a shit ton of stuff
Agreed.
from my childhood.
Agreed. I got my first girlfriend in 84.
Ooh. Yeah, well, I had a kid
Oh.
in 84.
Wow.
Babies having babies. You know what I'm saying?
Like a Wayans Brothers movie.
And I think it has a lot to do with the pop culture of 84.
Yes.
The things that really started like kicking into gear and boosting us as I guess nerdy individuals.
Yes.
We honing
As a part of
and
society.
creating
Yes.
what I guess a modern day geek would be, because we were soaking up because of our ages, we were soaking up those fantastical, adventurous, fantasy, horrific elements, those things that were appealing to us as adolescents. It was just a flourishing, amazing, creative, imaginative time. 84, the explosion of those things. And not just the movies,
No.
but also the television and the music that were permeating the airwaves.
Music, again, doing research today, it was like every song. I'm like, I can't. I had to like skip some things.
What I did was,
I got a list.
I wrote down just quick things that mattered to me as
I tried to do that as well.
7-year-old.
Yeah.
And that still matter to me now. And it's not like vast, but it's these things, these were touchstones, these were albums or songs that really like resonate still as a, man in his early 40s.
Yes.
So, but I mean, you can certainly go ahead.
I mean, anything from Purple Rain.
That is also on my list.
Yeah.
The Purple Rain soundtrack.
Yes.
It was a revolution.
Morris Day. Jump. I have Van
Halen.
Yeah.
1984.
You could almost do like whole albums.
I did for the most part.
I mean,
because it was
Ghostbusters.
phenomenal. The soundtrack, Ghostbusters.
Come on. I believe it's magic. Footloose.
That is also on my list. So that's great. I don't have to talk about it.
You drop some.
I have Stay Hungry from Twisted Sister.
I got that.
That was phenomenal.
That was kind of that. Oh, am I allowed to like this? Because the cover is just.
Well, I loved it.
And
I loved it,
my parents didn't care, but there was just level of like, oh, is this okay? Like, I think I snuck the cassette into the house because I wasn't sure, because it looked just so crazy. He's got a bone and he's in this like caveman, post-apocalyptic getup, and he's wearing makeup. This man's wearing makeup, so I wasn't too sure.
7-8-year-old man, forget about it. This is like,
yeah, that kind of got me into like that style of music. Your headbangers.
I mean, I would absolutely say because of my uncles, like fucking Stay Hungry and Van Halen's 1984, and a couple of other these I'm gonna say. Dio, Last in Line, his album Last in Line, for me, that's, Dio. And again, it's because of my uncles, but that to this day, it's my favorite Dio album.
Yes.
Last in Line.
That's when I first noticed the group Chicago.
That's on my list as well.
Peter Cetera.
You're the inspiration, right?
I think the album's called 1984, if I recall.
I think it's Chicago 17.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, something like that, because they are a very prolific band.
Yes. My dad was a huge fan, so he always would be.
Cetera Chicago is
so good. I had to make my own Peter Cetera Greatest Hits album because the one that came out wasn't up to par. So a buddy and I, we made our own.
I think I've got...
Same thing with you, Lewis and the News. We made our own.
Agreed. I think, for me, there's about 6 Cetera songs.
Cetera.
That...
I want that group.
That 100% is on, like, a music list for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Glory of Love?
And again, it connects to my childhood because of, like, we had a skating rink. We had the
nice.
Skateland skating rink, and it was mecca for us kids. Going into
song.
our teen years and young adults, we were couple skating, and all that stuff was just juicy for us adolescents. So
what else you got?
I got Rockwell. That's huge.
Creepy video.
Yep, but
scared
that song,
the shit out
man,
of me.
that
still
song.
Holds up. Every Halloween, someone's playing that.
This was Bon Jovi's
Runaway.
Yeah, man. This was the big, like, Bon Jovi.
Yes.
Bon Jovi. Runaway. I got
Steve Perry.
I do Street Talk. Steve
so
Perry.
Oh, Sherry's probably in my top 10 all time.
Yeah, it's a great song. Great song. I got Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA.
Of course.
Everybody had that. It was playing all over the fucking place, like Purple Rain.
Turn Up the Radio by Autograph.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
Deep cut.
Yeah. I have Tina Turner.
Oh,
Private Dancer. What's Love Got to Do with It? Private Dancer is the album. I dig Tina Turner, man. I dig Tina Turner.
Now I know with 83, Flashdance kind of ushered in that soundtrack boom, but I'm thinking 84.
Oh my God! Yes.
Just with MTV, it bolstered these films that.
Well,
probably
again, we've already mentioned
much.
Footloose, Ghostbusters, Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a non-stop erotic cabaret.
Yes, yes. To the point where now it's not really a thing now, which is a shame. But soundtracks were just so.
Oh my God! Yeah.
From here on out, again, 84 was this touchstone. I Can't Drive 55. Sammy Hagar. Again, one of those. Am I allowed? Is it okay for me to listen to this kind of music? Just because that was.
Madonna.
I had Smurf albums.
Like a virgin.
Oh yes.
The album dropped. She dropped. My balls dropped. It was fantastic. It was Madonna.
One of those first sexual awakening, like
80's Madonna. Woo!
I want to see her. Wait, she's in Playboy. How do I get my peepers on that? I've never seen that actually. Axel F by Harold Faltermeyer. The whole Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack we discussed earlier. Fantastic. Glenn Frey. Pointer Sisters. Oh my God. How did you not bring
3D?
So good.
It was the album.
Eat it.
I got the Go-Go's.
Cars. Magic.
I do have the Cars. Heartbeat, sing! It's a phenomenal album to this day. Love the Cars. Seen them in concert. Love them, love them, love them, love them, love them. One of my favorite 80s bands of all time. And this album is on fire.
Lit, as the kids say.
It spits hot fire.
Oh. Search is Over by Survivor. Love Survivor. Easy Lover. Philip Bailey and Phil Collins.
That track alone, man.
He's an easy lover.
That is also on my rotation.
Phil Collins.
In my car. On my
Segue to Phil Collins, Against All Odds.
Was never a fan of Phil Collins, but that song popped a nibbler.
It was the era of Kenny Loggins. I mean, we mentioned
Footloose, the 80s.
I'm Free.
It's the era of Kenny Loggins.
Ugh. Material Girl. That's about all I got.
That whole
Dockin', Alone Again. Dockin'. And even though it came out in '83, I mean, Michael Jackson was still...
Well, Michael was huge. Michael was, I mean, it didn't matter.
'84 was the year I got my first Michael Jackson jacket. I got the... I should have got Thriller, but I got the black zip one with all the zippers.
I mean,
Why didn't I get Thriller?
Michael Jackson is the top of everything for me. Michael Jackson, man. Michael Jackson, just a fucking amazing performer. Talent, huge talent. So that's the music. That was huge.
Yes.
Growing up, and certainly to this day. Now let's go into. Did you write down shows, cartoons, anything like that?
Yeah.
I definitely did.
A lot of great stuff premiered in '84.
Yes, it did.
I mean, we're not going to go into a rant here about one's lives and how they lived and live now, but '84 was the premiere of the Cosby Show
on my list,
and it's one of the. I mean,
I don't care, man. I love it. I still love the Cosby Show.
That first season, first couple seasons, was just. It was appointment television. We didn't have DVRs back then, and even VCRs were kind of.
There was a lot of appointment television.
You had to be in front of the boob tube there to watch. It was Thursday nights, I believe. I'm not sure. I know eventually ended up on Thursdays, but I don't know if it started on Thursdays. But yeah, Cosby Show.
Mm-hmm. The GoBots.
And
Transformers.
Both
Both of them. I like both of them, man. I prefer Transformers.
Yeah.
But I love both. I mean,
we didn't know any better back
then. We didn't
care.
Who cares?
Wanted
it didn't
to watch,
matter.
Yeah.
We were spoiled.
We had everything.
We took everything.
Which is funny because we're spoiled now because we have everything at our finger. I could watch GoBots and Transformers right now.
And I will.
We got a TV right here. And Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah, that's on my cultural significance thing.
That's
I didn't really watch it, only because of my family.
My dad and I, we loved your murder mystery shows. So anything during the 80s, there was a big influx of Perry Mason TV movies. Just the whodunits. Love the whodunits. And though I was at an age where I probably shouldn't be watching murder shows, I just wasn't the demographic.
Yeah.
But I loved me some JB Fletcher.
Well, a lot of things were like that, especially for me, who grew up with, who had great-grandparents that were raising me.
Yeah.
There was a lot of television that I saw that I would not even sit through if it wasn't for, like, family time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but Get Along Gang was in 84.
Still know that song.
Yeah, you know, it resonates, and it's...
I couldn't tell you a single episode.
It's...
I don't even know if I actually watched this
show. It only
show.
lasted 13 episodes.
But I could sing that song for you. The Get Along Gang, Get Along Gang.
It's 13 episodes, folks, but it resonates.
Why?
Beats them.
Because of the song?
Beats me. Well, you gotta think, they also, back then, they would rerun that shit over and over and over and over and over again.
Just because they only had 13.
So, you know.
Night Court.
That is on my list as well.
I didn't get involved with that until your Marky Post years, but that's...
I like Night Court.
84 was when Night Court debuted.
And that's a show that my family would watch, but I actually liked as well.
Still holds up. I'll catch an episode here or there, and I'm still... another... it was the couple years before, I think 82 was Family Ties.
Yes.
83, but I just watched a couple... Actually, the Tom Hanks episode.
Well, Family Ties,
I mean, that's still...
Family Ties I watch every single year.
Like after you had the one episode during sleepover, I went home and I watched.
Family Ties.
So good. It still holds up.
I'm going to do a couple here real quick.
Okay.
Kid Video, Muppet Babies,
Yes.
and the Snorks. All
The
debuted
Snorks
in 1984.
I guess I really like the theme songs to these shows.
I liked the shows, man.
Yeah, Snorks was good.
I loved them all.
It was just Smurfs underwater.
That's right.
Punky Brewster.
Punky Brewster
84.
is, yep, huge. Huge. Still love it to this day.
I'm staring at her right now. She's looking at me. She's giving me a stink eye.
Kids Incorporated was 1984.
Wow,
the debut of Kids Incorporated.
Wow.
Listen, I ain't too proud to beg. I still love Kids Incorporated.
Still.
You know, a lot of it has to do with nostalgia.
It's Hoke.
Loving it
But
when I was
it still works.
7, 8, 9, 10. But I still dig it, man.
Ooh, one of some of my first crushes.
Absolutely.
I was a Renee guy.
Voltron, 1984. Loved Voltron.
Charles in Charge.
Charles in Charge is on my list.
I prefer the syndicated seasons
I agree.
because I like that family better.
But I do like season 1. I do like season 1.
Okay.
But not as much as the later years. Kate and Allie.
Ooh.
I would watch this
Artie
again
Myers.
because of my aunt. But I think it's a good show, man. I really do.
Chip.
It is on my wish list.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I really dig Kate and Allie. I think it's a good show, man. Now, I didn't watch it. I didn't really like it. But it was a huge phenomenon. Miami Vice,
Oh yeah.
1984. I just
I was
didn't
not
care.
allowed to stay up that late.
Didn't really care.
It hasn't been something I should go back and watch that. I get it. I get the music. I get the styles and passion, but yeah, that just wasn't something.
Airwolf. Oof.
Blue
Didn't-
Thunder.
Again, I didn't really watch Airwolf. I didn't like it too much. Mostly because I didn't
He
like
doesn't like Ernest Borgnine.
Jan Michael Vincent.
Oh.
I just didn't give a shit. I was just like, who is this
Born in
guy?
East LA's Jan Michael.
This guy, Michael Knight. Get out of here.
Who's the boss?
It's on my list.
Yep.
Triple starred. Who's the boss? Angela. Samantha. Jonathan.
Budweiser.
I love. Who's the boss? It's a classic. It's on my classic list.
Yeah.
Here's one. Here's a gem. I don't know if did you like Three's Company?
Yes.
I loved Three's Company.
Three's a Crowd. Or
Yes, Three's a Crowd was the debuted in 1984. It wasn't Three's Company, but man, I
What
just
was the
loved
premise again?
Jack Tripper
He
so
came
much.
back. That's right.
So I think, I watched what I could, but I just remember not feeling it,
No.
even at that age, just not getting into it, probably because I was all about, Suzanne Summers, and it didn't have titties and all the bounciness and everything of Three's Company magic as an adolescent. But I don't know, so Three's a Crowd didn't really last long.
No, I feel like that was one season.
Another thing that debuted in 84 was this show. Now, I don't know, do you remember this? It was called Riptide.
Of course.
Riptide.
It's got
Anyway,
Joe
it was-
Perry or no?
It was
Perry,
like, it was like...
It's like Knight Rider, but with a boat.
But with a boat.
And three dudes instead of one.
I liked it.
Yes.
I liked Riptide. It doesn't get a lot of talk. It doesn't
No.
get a lot of attention.
No. If we were to go to the mall right now and ask people, do you remember the
mall.
show Riptide? You're getting blank stares. Because these are probably the only two dudes.
I felt like the
remember
Fall Guy
Riptide.
was underrated too. Is underrated.
Great
But I
theme
love
song.
the Fall Guy.
Great theme song.
Again, those were shows.
That's,
that
what's
like,
her, Zapped McGee, what's her name? Heather Thomas.
I know what you're talking about. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Not again. I didn't really watch it,
yeah.
but it was huge. Rainbow Bright
Oh.
debuted in 1984.
Yeah.
My sister and my cousins loved it. Same with My Little Pony and Friends, the cartoon
Oh, that
debuted in
debuted?
1984.
Wow.
So did Heathcliff.
Really? Well,
Yep,
remember they had those
1984.
movies?
And the new Scooby-Doo Mysteries.
Is that
debuted
the
in
one?
1984.
Is that with the guest stars? Or
It was when
was that 70s?
I think it was when Scooby-Dum
Oh.
and
Scrappy.
and that stuff really started being introduced.
Okay.
It didn't matter. I
Scooby-Doo
watched
was
everything
awesome.
Scooby-Doo. So
Saturday mornings were appointment TV.
yeah. And then we got, now for me, I talked about this, huge, mega fan of V. This was
that's
V,
right.
the final battle, and
The TV show.
The TV show,
Yeah.
which only lasted one season, but we got that ending of the miniseries with the final battle. V. That is something that I watch every single year, the miniseries.
The miniseries. Okay.
The show, I do own it. I have it for, I guess, purposes. It is not as dynamic and emotional as
B.
as the miniseries. But there's stuff about it that I still enjoy. It's just not the miniseries.
Did you enjoy the reboot?
To an extent, I guess. I think I liked the first season more than I liked the second of that new reboot. But nothing ever could replace the original for me. I liked the winks, and I liked when Mark Singer showed up on the reboot.
Oh, did he?
As well. Yeah, he did.
That's fun. Did Freddie?
But
Did England?
no. But the original is always going to be masterful for me, and that's what I talk to Mark Singer about the most. I do like Beastmaster. I actually am maybe the second or third person on the earth that likes Beastmaster. But
Oh no, I.
oh, good. You like
Yeah.
Beastmaster?
God,
I like
that was-
Beastmaster.
That was like my first booby movie.
But-
where you're like, oh shit.
So yeah. So when
And then you got the ferrets.
Podo.
Rip
When
Torn.
I talked to
Love Beastmaster.
Mark Singer, all I talked about was V, and I think he really appreciated that.
I love that. I love when you talk to celebs about little hidden, like when I met Anthony Michael Hall, I talked about his guest appearance on Community, and he was, you could tell he was happy to talk about something other than 16 Candles or Breakfast Club.
Not Saturday Night Live. You're huge. You're a huge fan of
With
his
our-
stint on Saturday Night Live.
Robert Downey Jr.
And Robert Downey Jr.
Randy Quaid, Joan Cusack.
Quaid. But yeah. So wow, Woo.
84.
Turbo Teen. I
That
can't
was
remember
that?
Turbo Teen.
Uh-huh.
1984. Turbo Teen.
When you try and
Didn't
explain
last.
that IP,
But I loved it, man.
so and his face extended into so gonna see him.
Cold or hot, folks. Cold or hot.
When was the Rubik's Cube cartoon? I wonder what year that was.
That might be before that. 83, maybe?
Maybe.
I remember the Rubik's Cube.
Hells yeah.
Rubik the Amazing Cube.
Yeah. So good.
So
Saturday
bizarre.
morning cartoons. So good. So good.
Yeah. Ruby Spears, Hanna-Barbera, Deke, all that shit, man.
And those specials
Mm.
to tell you what's coming.
Yeah, we talked about that. Talked about that in the Saturday morning one.
So good. I would see that ad in the TV guide, but I gotta. And then when something, not to go off on a tangent, when two shows were on at the same time, you had Sophie's Choice.
Yeah, we talked about that too. How you had to go back and forth to the three big networks, sometimes syndication, just to get the shows that you wanted.
Yeah.
You were gonna lose some. You
Yeah.
were gonna lose some.
Yeah.
It was all about what you valued at the time. It was commercial break, so I would hit that commercial break and then go to the next. Okay, it's not commercial here, so I'm gonna watch this.
I mean, they've released books about Saturday morning cartoons, but they just never lived up to my. I just want some compendium of every.
Yeah, that
Saturday
one you
morning.
have,
Yeah.
and that I recently got for Christmas.
It's good, but it doesn't have everything.
But it didn't have.
I just want every. I want
it was
every
limited.
little. There's another new one that came out, and they just focus on the main ones, and I want every little kind of. I guess I'm gonna have to write my own.
Exactly.
I want every little nook and cranny that
Get out
because
of it,
it's
man.
not hard to research that because it was just the 3 channels.
Yeah, people want to know about.
I won't even
Turbo
get
Teen.
into syndication. I just want the 3: ABC, NBC, CBS, and their slate. Their cartoons.
What a good time. 1984, man.
That was perfect.
I can't wait until we can talk about 1985.
It's a good year too.
Amazing year.
Yeah.
A really huge boom, explosion, creativity, imagination.
Pop culture.
Pop culture in the 1980s.
Merchandising.
My God.
Merchandising.
So good. Why can't we go back? And in a way we do. By
We're
holding
back.
on to these things.
We're doing these shows.
By talking about these things with you, like-minded
collecting
folks.
things.
Watching these things over and over again. It keeps us there. Keeps us young.
Yes.
Taut.
So I implore you to do the same project.
Rigid.
Make a list of 84 movies and just try and watch them throughout the year.
Tell us in the comments, folks.
Yeah.
You guys like talking to us. Tell us, what were your favorite pop cultural phenomena
From 84.
in 1984? How old were you? Were you
even alive?
Were you around? Did we know you?
Were you my
Because all us 80s kids knew each other.
Yes.
We were all playing in everyone's giant yards. Riding bikes, passing each other in the night.
Pretending to be Ghostbusters.
It was a good playing Dark Crystal. Come on.
I had my own cop show called Wild Side.
Yeah, I remember it was good. I used to sit and watch it in front of a cardboard box.
Weird. Is that on? That's on Blu-ray. Somehow that's on Blu-ray though.
on
My
Laserdisc.
memories. My memories are on Blu-ray. That'd be a cool.
One day.
We got
So
some
that's
pickups. We got any pickups?
Oh yeah, I guess we do. You brought.
I
Let's
brought a
hear.
book.
You got a bunch of stuff. So.
I picked up. Not the
Oh no.
biggest fan of the movie,
Oh no.
but for some reason I wanted it. I wanted Waterworld.
And
on Arrow Blu-ray. It's got the director's cut. I've always been intrigued by that. This thing's look how thick it is. It came with a poster. Oh no! I know it's not the greatest, but for some reason,
you don't want to ruin
I wanted this on Blu-ray. I remember not hating it. It has one of the best villain deaths, even though it was ridiculous.
It's a stoinker.
Oh,
And somehow the Waterworld stage show is still going on
Wow,
at Universal.
interesting.
Huh?
A buddy of mine found this at a thrift store, and I had no clue it came out in hardcover. But it's Jaws 2, the book. I love collecting Jaws memorabilia.
Even the Revenge?
I don't have that
Bomba
yet.
Clan, you gotta get the book!
Don't have that. There is no Jaws 3D book, but there is books for 1, obviously, 2, and 4. But
Sit down with me.
Mario
Eat some Mario Van
Peebles.
Pebbles cereal.
Again, we got Karate Kid. Yeah, I heard rumors of a 4th. Karate Kid Part 3 Blu-ray. Complete the collection.
One of those times coming out of a theater where I just wanted to kick a goat.
For this one?
The 4th movie,
Yeah.
the next
I
Karate
never
Kid.
saw it in theaters. And in fact,
I
last
wish I
year-
didn't go to the theater to see that movie.
Even
I don't know
back
what
then.
I was thinking. I wanted the magic again.
Yeah.
And I just didn't
I must
get
have
it.
known, like, there's no way there's no way that can be good. Also celebrating an anniversary. 30th,
That's right. We
30th.
talked about that.
Not very good, but it's still weirdly
It has its
entertaining.
charms,
Yes.
and that's I like it because it's just so crappy.
Machio is getting real long in the tooth at this point. He was probably
Oh, but he's still a kid.
Yeah,
Still a kid.
and he's doing the dance thing at the end. One of my favorites from last year.
I still got to pick this up, but
Picked up
I'm
the
poor.
Halloween movie.
That is a definite. I got to get that for sure.
I have all the other
Loved it.
films, and I love souvenir magazines. I love them. I've picked up quite a few recently. I miss that where you would go to the theater and they would be selling a magazine of the movie you're going to see. I love that. It's just not a thing that's done anymore. So I've slowly been trying to recollect all these souvenir magazines. But I picked up the Dick Tracy souvenir magazine.
What do you think of that movie? Because I'm not a fan of the movie.
I think I'm more nostalgia for the merchandising and the advertisements.
Because they definitely push that, for sure.
Because that shit's fun. But when I saw the film, I I thought it was just one long Madonna video.
Yeah, well, actually, that's the one thing I really enjoyed about seeing that movie in the theater. I probably was rigid the whole time, because Madonna was just
Again, the marketing
looking phenomenal.
was
in that
brilliant,
movie. But
because
the movie,
yeah, because I thought there'd be more involvement of the villains, because they really touted the villains and they're barely in it.
Yeah.
Great NES game. I adored the Dick Tracy NES game. I beat it. It's an awesome game. But the movie, I haven't revisited in a while. I'd like to, but I think
it would be. I guess it would be fun to revisit it.
It's visually,
fantastic.
Just the colors, and I'm sure it'll hit some nostalgia. But yeah, it just wasn't something I watched religiously, because it was just riding that Batman coattail with the score,
Absolutely.
or just the marketing and the look. But it just never held up. But yeah, those were my pickups.
So it's not really a pickup. This was gifted to me.
Oh.
By another fan named Sean, not the same Sean who gifted a box last week to me.
You know a lot of Seans.
I do. This is a different Sean, and this was sent to me out of the blue. It was on my wish list.
Oh, I see what he did there, out of the blue. You'll get it. You'll get it in a bit.
This is the Scream Factory Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 Blu-ray.
See, blue.
How awesome.
Yeah.
And
we have great fans.
Yeah, I really love this movie. It is, I mean, if you just take 45 minutes out of it.
Yeah, which is usually what I do.
And just combine it to the end of Part 1. It's a great long-form film of Silent Night, Deadly Night. Goofy, some
pure 80s. Pure 80s.
Yeah. Some good
is
deaths.
Is this 89?
Some intense eyebrow action in this film.
What year was this?
I want to say 87. This is 1987.
Wonderful. Garbage Day. Come on.
Yeah. But so thank you, Sean.
Yes,
for sending this to me. That is awesome. I really appreciate it. It is so rad, so humbling, so cool when you fans take it upon yourselves to send something cool and sweet and awesome, just because you enjoy the stuff that we do. So,
which brings me to my wish list.
So
starting with A, we have I'm just kidding. Yes, we humbled and appreciate anyone that engages us on social media, and
that's right.
We just love talking about this stuff.
And I
that's about positivity here.
Have enjoyed, which you should really jump on board more. I know
the live stuff.
Yes, these live shows I've been doing have been really fantastic, and I've really gotten to know a lot of you folks. And it's cool to see a lot of the same gang show up for every live show.
It's appointment streaming. That's cool.
I appreciate it because we end up doing it for like 2.5 hours.
That's awesome.
And
I'll definitely try and get to.
It's a lot of fun.
I can't make it to the next one, but I will try and.
Tis a lot of fun, and I appreciate it. And thank you guys for watching the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting us. That's great.
Stuff and talk about stuff. It's just it's awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. So thank you very much.
Yes.
And we hope you enjoyed this episode of Crept From the 80's, 1984. Woo! Go home and relive your own magical times of 1984. And then relive your magical times of watching this episode of Crept From the 80's about 1984.
Make it a tradition.
Yes, you'll have great memories in 30-some years about, remember that time I watched the episode about 1984 from Crept From the 80's?
It'll be downloaded into their brain.
Oh yes, because you know YouTube ain't going to be here.
No.
Crom knows what's going to be here by then. It's,
you two, like you are the two.
That's right. Yeah, you will have robotic parts, and you will be made of YouTube.
And there will still be Ghostbusters merchandise.
There will be.
Karate Kid.
Well, by that time,
EMG.
the 5th reboot of Ghostbusters.